What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to another mobile gaming video. I'm your boy Scribble, and today we're looking at all things PvP in Age of Origins. Thank you Age of Origins for sponsoring this video. Let's break this down. So, as I'm sure you're no doubt aware, PvP plays a rather large role in Age of Origins. Just in general, there are a number of game modes that sort of lean into it, Void Wars and Triangle Wars and all this sort of business, for example. But the general business, day-to-day activity of going out and attacking other bases does have some benefits, such as a source of additional resources for your capital. But there's a lot of nuance that goes into how we go about attacking within Age of Origins. So there's a couple of things that I want to target, really, and I suppose that's probably where we start. Is how do we target an enemy? The only way we can really find a person to attack is by going out into the world map. So if you're coming out from your base, I'm going to do this as a bare bones basics intro here for you, ladies and gentlemen. Just down in the bottom left corner, you go out into the world map. Immediately, you'll be able to see all of the capital cities around you. You can see my city is just here in the middle, and I'm surrounded by my wonderful alliance comrades. Now, when you're just going around on the map, you could just like randomly scroll and try to find someone outside of your area, someone that doesn't belong to your base, for example. Yes, you could do that. That's generally how you find people, but it's not enough to just look at it and say, oh, look, he's a level 9 guy, that maybe we'll go and attack him. What you have to do is scout out your opponents. Generally, you're not really going to be looking for someone super low level because you won't be able to really gather resources. But when you click on their capital ship, you can send out a scout, and you see that immediately sends out one of your little drones to go and check and see what resources and defenses the enemy has. Now, the number of scouts that you can send out is actually based on your capital level, as well as the advancements that you've made within your garage. So if you check out your garage, you'll be able to see all of your fleets up here. You can see I've maxed out at 4 fleets now. If I were to activate my VIP, you need to be at least VIP 7. You'll get an additional fleet. Now, each of these fleets counts as one of your scout units, so you can send out a number of fleets equal to the number of fleets that you have unlocked. And that's useful when you're looking for an enemy to attack, because you can just spread out many different scouts to go out and look at different bases. So our scout has successfully gone out and found our opponent, and it's given us a little bit of information. So what can we see here? We can see that they've got resources saved and resources unharvested. Now, the resources saved, those won't be available for grabs, only the unharvested ones over here. The saved ones are what is essentially in their depot. So if I was to attack this person, the most I would get is about 10,000 of the food and 8,000 oil. It's not really worth it. Now, they are just a low-level enemy, so they've only got a level 3 Titan. In my current position, I wouldn't necessarily go ahead and attack them. It just doesn't feel worthwhile, as the rewards are just not there. However, if we were to check out someone like this, who's got 250,000 resources harvested, that is a lot better. Now, we can also see the defensive durability, and we can see they've got quite some investments in their Titan. Now, this particular person is going to be a lot harder to take down. We can click on the little button here, the coordinates, and that will actually show you their base immediately. We've got a couple more other ones to show. So, for example, this one here has less resources, less overall investment, so probably a safer target, this one. And then we've got another one just down here, I believe. Oh, no, that's the same one again. Apologies. Is it this one down here? Yeah, this one here is somewhere in the middle. This is probably the target that I would most likely go for, this individual over here. So before we go ahead and attack, there's a couple of other things that you should really think about first, and that is your skills, your commanders, and your formation. All these things are super important. Let's start off with commander skills. Now, I'm currently not spec'd for my commander to be going out and doing PvP. I'm currently spec'd for going out on the world map and killing zombies, because it's a really good way to progress in this game, getting lots of experience, getting lots of additional recruitment orders and the such. However, if you go over to the war section of the commander skills, you'll be able to see a couple of things. Now, personally, I like to prioritize long-range attacks, because the way you can set up your fleet leans into the benefit of long-range attacks. They are high damage, slow rate of fire. So if you boost your long-range attacks, it's generally considered the best way to go about attacking. You've got the recall all. Then what you do after long range attacks is focus instead on melee HP. So the idea is that the front wall is going to tank damage for you, whilst your snipers at the back deal all the damage that's boosted by this long range attack. Fleet speed will obviously help you traverse across the world map a little bit quicker. You then focus down on melee defense down here. Again, this is about keeping your army nice and tanky so you can take those hits while the back wall does all the damage. Wounded capacity, this is in relation to how many wounded units you can store within your hospitals without losing them. Very, very useful if you're doing a lot of PvP. Battle flag, once again, increases troop recruitment speed, so you'll be able to recruit more frequently for larger amounts. And then once again, I would go for long range attack level 2. I wouldn't bother trying to split it, just focus all in on one. And then again, down to melee HP. Now we're getting into like sort of the late game skill sets. You won't be able to hit these until much further on. Now, as I said before, I'm focused more on the development side, which is really about mobility recovery, as well as getting the mobility recovery ability, so that I can go out and attack many zombies on the world map. Okay, so when you go out and send an army out, it does cost you mobility to do it, so you can't just send out loads and loads. However, there is a couple of other things that we do still need to think about. The first and foremost is you want to make sure that the target you are attacking does not belong to a large alliance that is you're going to fear retaliation from, and certainly not one that is part of your wider alliance. So check within your alliance messages to see if the alliance that your target is in, do they belong to either one of the really big alliances on the map? You don't want to have a retaliation and start a war and have everybody come down on you. Not only that, make sure that they don't belong to an alliance that features as part of your own alliance, okay? Because there's an extended network usually of alliances that have an understanding not to attack each other for the betterment of everybody within the nation. So make sure you keep that as a consideration. Now, there's some other things that we can do to help lower the amount of losses that we're going to incur. So we'll look at fleet formation. Now we can see over here within my alliance, we have a schedule over here, a fleet setup that is supposed to maximize the amount of damage that you can deal whilst minimizing the amount of losses that you take. And again, this goes back to that setup of you want to have lots of long range damage and the upfront is going to be tanky. So all we're going to be doing is we're going to create a fleet that has got just one unit of each of everything and then as many snipers and cannons as you can possibly do. So in order to set up this fleet, you need to go over to your fleet setup over here. We'll go into Fleet Army and we'll click on, did I click on Fleet 1 there? Fleet 1 here. So you can see up here in the top left, you've got different rows. Okay, so you've got you've got just the front row, just the middle row, and just the back row. Okay, so let's just do this one at a time. You want to go front row, and all we're doing is one of each, just one of each, just one of each. And you can hit this little lock button. All right. So hitting that padlock button means that it'll never do any more than that. That is the maximum number. Fantastic. Let's go into the middle row then. Over here, we'll lock it at 1, lock it at 1, lock it at 1, and then go into the back row. You want to maximize your sharpshooters and maximize your cannons. Okay, I'm just going to have one shredder over here. Very good. We'll go into zombies. We'll also have just one. All right, and then you save that fleet, and you've got one fleet saved. So now if I were to go over here to my mail, my scout reports, I think we targeted this individual over here. He's got 150,000 of these resources. Let's click over here. That will take us to his base and we'll select attack. Then all we do is we click Fleet 1 and it should have our maximum number of snipers, our maximum number of flame cannons, and then just one of everything else. And we should be okay. So we'll set this out and you'll see it'll take 12 minutes for us to actually get there. Now you can actually speed this up. Using the speed up ability here, you've got fleet speed up 50% or 25%. I've got quite a few. So let's go ahead and use that and then use that and just use a couple of these just to speed it up so that it gets the attack in nice and quickly and we can sort of progress through this video at a faster pace so we're not wasting time for you guys. Once we've done this, we'll get a report that will show how many resources we managed to receive, how many losses we incurred, and we'll have a video playdown of the actual battle itself. Within your Alliance Battles tab, you will also be able to see here. So if you are coordinating an attack against a larger opponent, you can then call out to your guild to say, hey, come help me attack this. We can go over timing attacks in a separate video, which it revolves around making sure all of your Alliance armies arrive at the attacking city, or the city that we're attacking rather, at the same time. Okay, so our army has attacked the city. Let's see the battle report. It says we were successful here. There were no defending enemies for this base. You can see here, they only had one battler. They had no units. So our units completely steamrolled absolutely destroyed it, and we managed to plunder around 30,000 resources. You can click the video replay, but in this instance, there's no army for us to actually fight up against. We just strolled up, took this stuff, and left like we're some sort of Grinch at Christmas time. Rather wonderful. But that, in my opinion, is a really sort of easy way of just gaining an additional 30,000 resources of everything there. I mean, it's not a load. Obviously, you could target higher level people with more resources, but again, it's going to come down to how much do you want to risk. So again, we can go back to the scout over here. We can check out Yoshi's info. We can see that this guy does have defensive towers, but still no real defensive fleet to speak of. So I could send out an attack army against this guy as well. So as you can see, I sent out a really weak fleet there because he had no defenses in his base. However, because I didn't send many units, we didn't actually gain much plunder. So don't forget, the more units that you send out, the more capacity you're able to bring back with you. You can further enhance your offensive capabilities via the officers that you appoint. Okay, so having officers that are focused more on actual attack damage with skill sets that benefit attacking and as well as attacking recovery time and that sort of thing will obviously help improve your odds and let you punch up a little bit more. But I think the most important thing is just to make sure that from the principles basis that you're trying to target the right people. Don't try to bite off more than you can chew, and try to minimize the amount of losses that you're actually going to incur. And try not to annoy the big boys in the nation. But I think that's going to about do it for our basic overview of PvP. Let me know in the comments section down below. Have you had much luck going out and attacking and stealing resources from other enemies in the world? Until the very next video, ladies and gentlemen, peace out and big love.